Hi Libra, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your monthly horoscope for the month of June. And we have a lot at play because we're in eclipse season, and we have a lot of mutable energy because several planets are in mutable signs right now. There's a lot of Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and Venus is in the ruler of your sign is currently retrograde, which happens once every 18 months, and it retrogrades in Gemini once every 8 years. And she's also out of bounds, which means she exceeds the sun's outer limits by declination and is all over the place. She's been out of bounds since April 2nd, and she will be until July 1st. And she retrograded at 21 degrees of Gemini in your house of higher learning and belief system, publicity and teaching and promotion. And she stations direct on June 25th at 5 degrees of Gemini. And this is an area where you might reevaluate your belief systems. Maybe you're reconnecting to faith, or maybe you're starting to study a new field. It's an excellent time for taking classes, or going back and getting another degree, or finishing a degree, or it's good for teaching as well, and definitely for publicity. And the nodes of fate recently changed signs. They changed on May 5th. They exited the Capricorn Cancer axis and entered the Sagittarius Gemini axis, which also deals with teaching and learning. And the North Node of Destiny is transiting in your house of higher learning and promotion. So this is a big time for you to kind of get yourself out there. And again, a lot around teaching and learning and publicity. And if you are in your own business, definitely around promotion, because that the ninth house deals with that. So we've got Venus squaring Mars, the god of war, on the 2nd of June. And that's obviously a clash that's not very easy. It's very impassioned, but it's volatile. And Venus being the ruler of your sign, it's in your house of belief systems and learning, but it's squaring Mars in your house of work. So there could be maybe there are issues that come up at the workplace, or it could be that you're just feeling very stressed out in your daily routine. And then on the following day, Venus joins up with the sun for an annual conjunction, again in your house of higher learning and promotion. So that's a nice conjunction around love and happiness, and honoring that energy. And then we have a lunar eclipse on June 5th. And that lunar eclipse takes place at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. And it falls in your house of communication and local activity, neighborhood events. And it's also a house of communication. And so you could get some news, because the lunar eclipse brings things to culmination, and eclipses in themselves bring things to light. Often we find out things that we didn't know before, or we see things in a new way altogether. And so that eclipse is squaring Mars exactly at 15 degrees of Pisces. So that's a combative eclipse. And Mars, again, being in your house of work and daily routine. So there issues. Maybe you get resolution. Hopefully you do. But with Venus retrograde and being the ruler of your sign and being out of bounds, Mercury also is out of bounds until June 9th, and also not really playing by the rules. So it's going to be difficult. So just use your diplomacy that you're famous for. And then we have on the 11th of June, the sun in Gemini squares Neptune in the sky. And that could be a day that deception gets uncovered. It's a very creative energy and spiritual, but it can make people feel tired and depressed, and just being aware of that. And then on the 13th of June, Mars meets up with Neptune. And that's very devitalizing energy. And that's in your house of work and daily routine and health. And maybe you need to get some rest and restore yourself a bit, and just take care of yourself, And we have the summer solstice taking place on June 21st. And that's when the sun enters 0 degrees of Cancer. And that falls in your house of career. And we have a total solar eclipse that falls the following day, early in the morning on June 21st at 2:33 a.m. There is a total solar eclipse at 0 degrees of Cancer, and that is a time of setting new intentions and planting seeds, and that falls in your house of career. That's a very powerful eclipse for you, Libra. So really take advantage of that. I know this is a difficult time, obviously. This is, all of us are in a difficult time, but this is a time of setting new intentions professionally. And it is a big eclipse. It's at the world axis, which means it's going to be felt worldwide, and also people in leadership and on the world stage there'll be big news stories as well when you have such a powerful eclipse, and the nodes of fate are only 1 degree away from that eclipse. That's a big deal. And then we have at the end of the month on June 30th, we have a Jupiter Pluto conjunction, and Jupiter is the planet of expansion and abundance, and Pluto is the planet of transformation. And this is occurring in your house of home and emotional foundation. It's also in your house of real estate. So that's an area of transformation. We had a conjunction that already took place on April 4th. The two met up in the sky. They meet up not annually, they meet up every 13 years. And so they met up in April. They're meeting up again on June 30th in the same sector of your chart, triggering the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that began the year on January 12th, that death and rebirth and restoration and reform, and that's falling in your roots and your house of home and foundation. And now this is very empowering energy, even though it may expand that narrative, and that is very healing energy. So really tap into that, and I wish you a lot of love. Thank you very much.